those people up there who are telling people that you can take this to the brink because it gives them some leverage, they're going to own the responsibility. If you allow people to start to doubt whether the United States of America will meet its obligations, that would be catastrophic.
That is Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner explaining why not raising the debt limit would be catastrophic. He says it's dangerous to play around with it. Geithner has worked in monetary policy since getting his master's in international economics from Johns Hopkins in 1985. But Sarah Palin says he is wrong. And here's how she described Geithner's warnings at last night's clam bake.
What I believe are Timothy Geithner's false statements to the American public that a catastrophe would befall us all if the debt ceiling isn't raised.
Palin says Geithner is telling us things that are untrue, that his warnings of not raising the debt ceiling are just overblown. And while you're deciding whether or not to believe Palin or Geithner, listen to Palin in Boston yesterday explaining Paul Revere's famous midnight ride.
He who warned the British that they weren't going to be taking away our arms by ringing those bells and making sure as he's riding his horse through town to send those warning shots and bells that we were going to be secure and we were going to be free and we were going to be armed.
All right, well, according to paulreverehouse.org, which says on April 18th, 1775, Paul Revere secretly rode to Lexington, Massachusetts to warn Samuel Adams and John Hancock that British troops were marching from Boston to arrest him. Well, they used lanterns, not bells, as signals. He didn't fire shots. He stopped at houses to warn militiamen, not to warn British troops. So who knows if Sarah Palin just jumbled her words, maybe got a little confused, or just doesn't know the history of this country. But if you're still trying to decide between Palin or Geithner, here's Stephen Colbert putting Palin's version of George Washington's life in context.
After stopping at Mount Vernon, Palin wrote, "Even Piper was able to grasp the significance of being in the presence of our first president, who had such diverse interests, when she told me later how hard he must have worked to keep that farm going." It's true. I cannot imagine how hard he worked with no help other than his African volunteers.
Colbert can do a lot better than jokes about George Washington and Sarah Palin. After all, this is the week of Wiener. Could there be a more perfect news story for late night? The best of the week is still yet to come.